that you want to go over? Any 4-3 homework questions that you're stuck on? Yes. Number 4. Okay. Okay, evaluate the 6 trig functions. Okay, so they've identified in question 4 in this picture a 4th quadrant angle. We've always talked about how we would draw a right triangle to the closest side of the x-axis. Which side of that triangle should I label 4, and which side of that triangle should I label -3? Which side of that triangle? Here, I'll blow the picture up for you. Kapow. The top is 4, yes. Where do I put the -3? On the right side, right? Because it went down 3 units. Okay, obviously this is not a unit circle. What is the hypotenuse? So, yeah, so we have the square root of 3 squared plus 4 squared. Okay, and what would we say, besides looking at all kinds of other websites that don't have anything to do with the test that you're taking tomorrow and Friday? Radical 25. Now, I was hoping you would see that that's a 3, 4, 5 Pythagorean triple. But you know what? We always got the Pythagorean theorem as a backup plan. Okay, so now we got that. Then they want these 6 trigonometric functions. So we want sine and cosine and tangent. So what's the sine? Remember your SOHCAHTOA? Sine would be -3/5. Oops, that's a bad 3, but okay. -3/5. How about that cosine? 4/5. And the tangent. Opposite. -3/4. So how about that cotangent? Four over -3. Is this the same thing as what you just said? 4 over -3. Is that the same thing as -4 over +3? Sure it is. I would take either. How about the cosecant? Yes, -5/3. How did we get that? Reciprocal of the sine, right? Reciprocal of the sine. Cosecant. Remember we talked about how they went with opposite letters, right? CS. And then secant. What's the secant? +5/4. Right? Because all you're doing is taking the cosine. You want the reciprocal of the cosine. Okay? So we did number, I should write that down. 4, 3, number 4. What else? What's next on my agenda? Or your agenda, I should say. What are you studying that you're struggling with? Yep. Okay, coterminals. Identify the one angle that is not coterminal. Coterminal means they stop at the same place. Okay. So, I should probably use, let's see if I can get fancy here, folks. A circle tool. Yes. Right, so I don't screw that up. Come on, let's... And then hopefully I can put decent axes on it. Not my best work, but... Okay, 1 pi over 3 is in degree land. What is 1 pi over 3 radians? In degree land, what is 1 pi over 3 radians? 60 degrees. Okay, so we should be up here. So 1 pi over 3, 2 pi over 3, 3 pi over 3. Of course, that was 0. 4 pi over 3, 5 pi over 3, 6 pi over 3. Okay, so 5 pi over 3 is sitting right here. We just counted that one out. Okay. Does negative 5 pi over 3 land at the same place? Okay. So that's negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. So that's negative 5 pi over 3. Since those two don't land at the same place, one of those has to be the answer to this question, because one of those is not lining up with the rest of them. So let's see where 11 pi over 3 lands. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ooh, so 11 pi over 3 is down here. I'm guessing they're all going to line up down there in that corner, so ding, 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 negative 5 pi over 3 is the one that doesn't end in the same place. Right? Coterminal means it has to end in the same place. Did that make sense? Okay? It just has to end in the same place. All right, so we did question 2. Next. Okay, folks, you got to take this seriously enough to identify the things that you don't know how to do so that you don't end up, you got to be able to do all of those. Every single one of them. Okay? You also have to be able to solve those. You have to be able to, let's see. Well, let me give you something else that might be good to think about. If I said, let's go with a cosecant theta equals -2. Find every single answer to this question between 0 and 2 pi. Okay, or if you want me to use that, I can do this. Find every angle theta that fits this equation. Okay? You got that written down somewhere? I'll switch over to a unit circle for you. Well, I guess I can switch over to the unit circle. That'll stay on screen anyway. Okay, let's do that. And then we'll zoom into here. Or should I do a blank one? Maybe let's do a blank one. Find every place on the circle and that fits that equation. Cosecant theta equals -2. And use one of the front pages. 1, 2, 4, 3 circles if you want. Okay. Find every place on the circle that fits. If you're struggling with this, you need to be changing it to its regular trig function. Don't think in terms of reciprocals. Think in terms of the regular trig function, so change the equation to something you understand. Got an answer for me? That's secant sine is that x You're on the right track. You just pick X instead of Y. What do we think? Did you change it to a trig function? If you don't change it to a regular trig function, you might stare at it for a while. You guys just told me a few minutes ago which one cosecant what metal. So that should be pretty easy. Yep. Yeah. Get your pass.
I know it's the only one but I don't know how to
Two R's.
that would try to
I'm going to do that. So concepts.
that's and then you can find actually one
Figure out which one regular trig function it was. Which one?
that angle is in it has a y value.
It is the sine of -1/2. Right. Okay, did you change it to sine theta equals -1/2? You have to. Otherwise, you are not going to do anything with this. So, write that down. Sine theta equals -1/2. That should be your very next step. Is sine an x value, a y value, or its slope? It's a y value. So, you know it's a y value. Where do you have y values on this circle that are -1/2? Would you tell me above the x-axis or below the x-axis? Below the x-axis, draw a line on your circle. Draw a line through the entire circle that has this y value. Draw a line right through the circle that has this y value. And what kind of line are you drawing? Don't tell me straight, because all lines are straight. What kind of line? Horizontal, thank you very much. Drawing a horizontal line. You told me below the x-axis, you're true. So hopefully you drew one that went right through -1/2. Chopped right through it. How many times did your horizontal line hit the circle? Twice, so you better have two answers to this question. You better find those two places. That's fine.
No, you got my home computer.
Yes. Okay, now
No.
I know that your answer would be completely accepted because it says that the answer has a radians, right? Okay, now let me look at your answer because you might be right. So these two are the degree measures of the answers. Now these being negative are not in the range, okay? Because I'm telling you your answers have to be positive and they have to be between 0 and 2 pi, okay? But the ones that you chose with degree measures for those first two that were positive, those are the right degree measures. Now give me the radians. Count around the circle and pi over 6s if you don't know. Nice answer.
When I was younger, it showed yes. I'm not even going to ask for a time. Compared to my brother was
Do not speak degree when it asks for the angle in radian. Do not give me a degree measure when it asks for it in radians. All right, so what's this one down here? 7 pi over 6. Okay? If you don't remember how to count around them pi over 6s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? What's this one over here, the other answer? 11 pi over 6. 11 pi over 6. That's the answers I would want. They tell me that the answer has to be between 0 and 2 pi. Now, what if I changed this question like this? Ooh, what if I changed the question like that? It no longer goes, I'm asking you for answers from 0 to pi. There are no answers to that question if it's from 0 to pi. What if I changed it to, say, this? Then I only have one answer, right? Right? Because that gets rid of the last option. This is no longer an acceptable answer because we have to stop at 3 pi over 2 with all possibilities. Okay? How about answers have to be from 0 to 2 pi. Answers have to be from 0 to 2 pi. Answer the question. Start thinking regular trig function. Slope, nice, I like that. Yeah, this is all about the slope, folks. For some of you, it is very slippery. Just the ones that aren't paying attention, you know, the ones that are like working on English projects. Okay, so the tangent of theta is what? Negative 1 over radical 3. You're probably not going to see it written like that. You're probably going to see it rationalized. Maybe you have memorized it better as its rationalized form like that, right? Okay. So it's a slope, right? Where should I be drawing my line? It's not a horizontal line and it's not a vertical line. It's diagonal, right? All right. It has to go through. You know it has a negative slope. So if you start drawing me a line like this, I know you don't get that because you just drew me something with a positive slope. Now the person who draws that line right there, at least they know that's got radical 3 over 3. They just got the wrong sign, right? The line you should be drawing is that one. Because those slopes are smaller than 1. Right? They're based on the one that's smaller than 1. And of course, negative. Find me my answers. Find me my answers. That's what I thought. Good answer. Yeah. Just a blank circle, just so you can count the circle. Just practice and just make sure that you have it. Because when we draw our pictures, sometimes we're not in the wrong spot. Yeah, the angle measurements won't have any radicals.
Yeah.
Good answer. Good answer. What you got? Yes. Someone. Good answer.
Yeah. That's why I could.
And we've got 5 pi over 6 up here and 11 pi over 6 down here. 5 pi over 6 and 11 pi over 6. What if I just asked you for the secant of negative 5 pi over 6? What if I just asked you for the secant? Now this is not an equation to solve. I'm just asking you to tell me what the secant is. All right, now, please, 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 please don't do something like this. Okay, I understand that secant goes with cosine, all right? I get that. Now, do I want you to find the secant or the cosine? Amen, I do. But you don't flip the angle over. You need to find that cosine. Once you find that cosine, what are you going to do with it? Now you're going to flip it over, right? So, where's negative 5 pi over 6? Which quadrant is it in? Quadrant 2? No. Quadrant 3. Ding, 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 ding. Here's negative 5. You got to go in the negative direction, right? So negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. So there's negative 5 pi over 6. Okay? We need what? X value, Y value, or slope? We need an X value, right? So do you think it is negative 1/2? No. Do you think it is negative radical 2 over 2? It's negative radical 3 over 2. Now, that is not the answer to my question, but I'm pretty close. Negative 2 over radical 3. No, you don't need to rationalize it. You can just flip it over. If you rationalize it because it makes you feel better at night, that's fine. You'll see most textbooks write negative 2 radical 3 over 3. That is completely acceptable if you want to write it like that. Okay? But you have to be able to find the place on the circle, identify the X value, the Y value, or the slope, and then reciprocalize it. Yes, that's my own made-up word. Okay, do you have any other questions? from homework, anything that you've been need help with. 28 from the 4-3 homework. Okay. So you're talking about cosecant 3 pi over 4, right? This one right here? Okay. Let me find 3 pi over 4 on my circle. It'd be a heck of a lot easier to do it over here. 3 pi over 4. So let's lock that in place. So here's 0. 1 pi over 4. 2 pi over 4. 3 pi over 4. And that was cosecant 3 pi over 4. That was right, cosecant, I believe. Okay, so what is the sine of 3 pi over 4? What is the sine of 3 pi over 4? Is that an x value, a y value, or a slope? So y value, dot, 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 right here. Do you think it is positive 1/2? No. Do you think it is positive radical 2 over 2? Yes. So positive radical 2 over 2 is the y value, but that's not the answer to my question. What's the answer to my question? 2 over radical 2? Now, I'll take that answer. Other math teachers, you know, because they're really picky, would rationalize this thing. And so other math teachers would call this plain old radical 2. Now, I don't care if you give me plain old radical 2 or 2 over radical 2. It's the same exact thing. But you need to go back to the unit circle. Find the regular trig function first. Then find its reciprocal. All right? You got anything else? Yes. 40? Okay, 11 pi over 2. All right, so 11 pi over 2. I'm just going to draw a real crude circle here and go. Okay, so we've got 0, 1 pi over 2, 2 pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're at the bottom. That's 11 pi over 2. What is the cosine at that spot? Is cosine an x value, a y value, or a slope? What is the x value at the bottom? 0. Sine, is it a y value or a slope? It's a y value. So what's the y value down here at the bottom? -1. And what is the tangent of this line right here? Undefined. Ain't gonna happen, right? Because there is no slope. If you wrote no slope, that'd be fine too. Okay? If you leave it blank, do not try to claim that's the same thing as undefined or no slope. Leaving it blank, well, you knew what I meant. No. You lose. Okay, I don't want you to lose. So make sure if you think it's undefined, you write it, or you write no slope, something to that effect. Anything else? What? Number 8. Point P is on the terminal side of angle theta. Okay, so which quadrant am I going to be in? -4, -6. That's quadrant 3, right? So -4, -6. Always draw the triangle to the closest side of the x-axis, as I have told you over and over again. So this side must be called -4, and this side must be called -6. But what are we going to call the hypotenuse? So 4 squared plus 6 squared, that's what? Radical 52? Radical 52. Okay, so now they want me to go through the whole process of all the trig functions. Now that you have all three sides, do you think you could handle it?
Yeah, but I had a question because in the answer key it said like the answers were different. They're different numbers, like -3 over radical 13. I was like,
Okay, so my guess is
they reduced it.
that they reduced the radical 52. 4 goes into it 13 times. I know that because I play cards. You know what I mean by that? Any of you who've played 52 card pickup probably know that, right? There's 4 suits and 13 cards in every suit. 4 is a perfect square, so they changed it to 2 radical 13. Okay? I would not expect you to do that. I don't need you to do that.
Either way works.
Either way works fine for me. Okay? Is that it?
Yes.
Anybody else? Okay, clear your desks off of everything except the pencil.